Okay, so I didn't set up a paper now for you, so I'm just going to run through the basic of the scope. So the first one there, it says you need to be able to format the cells. Okay, so obviously you're going to work in the table, so you need to click on the table. You have to go to design view. Okay, I'm now going entering a value which I shouldn't have done. Okay, design view. Okay, then they ask you that you'll be able to format your cells. In other words, currency, number, etc. Cells is not really the correct thing there. It should be records, but anyway. Okay, so let's quickly look at, I'm going to see if there is actually there's not really a amount. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly put in, I'm going to say the ticket price. Okay. So let's say the ticket price should obviously be in a currency. So let's quickly see what the different ones is. There's a currency, and then you'll have to choose there by format. You'll have to make sure that it's the currency that they want. Do they want it in a general number? Do they want currency as in rand, euros, etc.? Okay. So I just want to quickly see if they didn't give you the option of that. Okay, so let's say currency, and then they also sometimes like to ask the decimal places. Okay, make sure that you also know the other different ones. So let's quickly go into date and time. Date and time can be different date and time. It can be a long date. Sometimes I don't say medium date, short date, long date. They just give you that Thursday, 12 November. Then you'll have to see the display of what's given to you on the question paper is actually a long date, etc. Okay, then also I just want to quickly run through the number. A number format can obviously be a byte, which is a very small, that will only be a 1 or a 2, a single, a double, a decimal, and then your yes and no will obviously, there's a yes and a no. Will they return either or not? Then we can just also see it's only going to be a yes or no. You can actually change it to true or false. So that's the format options there. Field sizes. Let's quickly go to gender. Now, let's say gender was, let's make it 40. Okay. And they say make it appropriate. Now, if you look at female in the word female, it's FEM. What is that? 6, female, 6, 7. So if you are in 8 or in 6, you'll be fine. Okay, so field size, a proper field size for gender, if they have to type out the word female or male, will be 6. Okay. Country, you'll see all of these are quite correctly done. There's none of these that's actually not that's not in the correct format. Okay, so just make sure when you do type in the field sizes that you use appropriate ones. It's normally the default one is obviously 2 to 5. Okay, so that's field sizes. Then find and replace. I was actually surprised to see it in here because according to me, it's not part of your curriculum, but in any way, I'm going to show you this. So please take note of the following. Okay, in order to do that, you'll obviously go into your table. So you will have to look at this view. You will go into home and you will click on replace. Okay, so there's my replace button. Now it's more or less very similar to find and replace in Word. Okay, so let's say I want to actually change all the people from Austria. So I made a mistake. It should actually say Australia, not Austria. Okay, so I'm going to say, let's find Austria. And remember, just as in Word, you can't make a spelling mistake, because if you make a mistake there, it's going to look for that word with the mistake. Okay, what do we need to find? The Australia, we need to replace it with Australia. Okay, where must I look in? Okay, in the current field, in the current document. Okay, they will specify that. Obviously, when they look in this current field, then there's not one specified at the moment. So I'm just going to say in the current field, and what must it match? Must it match the start of the field? So must it only, let's say we need to exchange the word, let's say it was Australia, and you just want if the first part of Australia is aus. It's the same as Austria, so that will be the start. Was it be the whole field or any part of the field? Now for this exercise, I'm just going to choose the whole field. Okay, where must they search? Up, down, all. Now if they don't specify, then you don't have to do this. Okay, so and then obviously the match case was it must exactly be as that. So I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to say replace all. Okay, they say you won't be able to undo. Okay, so I can't go back, so it's fine. I'm just going to say yes, and replace looks like it did change. Now at the back of my screen, you will see those two were Austria. So all of there's no Austria anymore. There's only Australia. I think it was only those two. Okay, so just quickly to recap, make sure that you're in your data sheet view, go to home, go to replace, and then play around with what they are asking you. Okay, so just make sure you know how to do that. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So let's go back into our properties. The field properties are obviously, let's look at gender. Okay, so these are all properties of the field. Okay, so let's say, for instance, for this sake, gender is not going to make much of a difference because it's really irrelevant if the person is a male or a female for the sake of this specific table. So you will see there it says no. You can change it to yes. Just make sure you know how to do that. Another thing that's part of your curriculum is a default, the validation rule and the text rule. Now we've done this in your practical and your PAT. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I wanted those people to put in their cell phone number. They can't leave it blank. Then you can type in a validation rule. Let's say the date in should be a validation rule. There's actually a nice one over there. So the validation rule must say, it must go in, it says there, what's the date in? It must be between those two dates. Okay, so the start of over those 2 years, from the start of 2017 and that. Now, you don't really do these complicated validation rules. It will only be something like age, bigger as, equal to. Just make sure you know your operators. That's the only thing. And then the validation text will be the word saying only dates specified allowed. Okay, whatever. They sometimes give you a little, I know in test 5 we had a thing that said only amounts bigger than 3,000, and then you had to say max 3,000. So when I go back into my view, in my data sheet view, if I type in anything from, let's say, that's not in between those values, so less than 2017, there's going to be an error message that comes up. I'm not going to do it now because, you know, with Access, if you do the wrong thing and then it throws you out completely. Okay, so but I'm sure you know what to do there. Let's just carry on with some other field properties. They sometimes ask you for the default value, so must it be a specified value? Not really actually that important in grade 11 as far as my knowledge goes. The lookup, you need to know what the lookup is. We've done a lookup when we've done the payment. Okay, I'm just quickly going to add one to show you. So this is obviously maybe not relevant to what this table is specifically about, but I know all of you will know what I'm talking about, hopefully, when I say payment type with regards to your PAT. Okay, so we said we're going to have to say which type of payments. So it's going to be which type of payments. By the way, if they ask you to put in a field, you literally just type in, you start and you type in. Okay, it has to be a lookup wizard. So we're going to go into, I will type in the values. Yes, next. So what will it be? It can be EFT, it can be Snap scan. Sorry for my spelling now, Picoche and Donzini. EFT, SnapScan, let's say e-wallet, etc. Okay, I'm not going to go too far. So next, and then say what you want to label it, say payment type, finish. Okay, so when I go back into my data sheet view, then I'll have another field there that says ticket price, and I'll be able, sorry, a drop down list that will say that. So you can always go back and see that you know that you've done the thing correctly. Okay, so that field's properties. Then we're going to go to queries. They say you must create and edit queries. Okay, we've done these. It's really not difficult, but you need to make sure that you understand what you're doing. So let's make a query. Let's say I want all the travelers that is on a luxury that was actually happy. Okay, they felt happy with what they got, and that says they will return. Okay, so it's luxury, angry, and return. So in order to answer this question, you need to make sure that you understand that the fields that is involved in this query is reaction, will return, and traveler type. But now, obviously, in grade 11, they make it very easy for you. They will say, create a query with the following fields. Okay, so where do you start? You start off by clicking on the table, yes? Okay, and then the second part is to go to create. What am I creating? I'm creating a query from a wizard. And you need to know what a wizard is. That was part of your theory. A wizard is obviously steps that you follow. A simple query wizard, yes, okay. Then what do I want in there? They told me. So I'm gonna say what I want is I wanted the reaction, I wanted the traveler type, and I want to know if this people will return or not. This tourists. Okay, say next. Okay, say next. And then this is the part where you need to say what they normally tell you it should be query, like it's over here. They give you the query and then _5. So I'm just going to call it query revision for the sake of this, and then finish. Okay, so now my query is open. I wanted all the reactions that's happy, that's luxury, and that will return. Now look at the type of fields that I've chosen. Reaction is obviously just a normal word. The tribal type is also text word, and then the return is a yes and a no. Okay, so I'm going to go back in to my design view. Now, what do I want? I want the reaction to be happy. Okay, now the important part is if you wanted the reaction to be happy and angry. Okay, this is how you had to do it. So it has to be happy and angry, the person's reaction. Let's say you wanted the happy or angry. Can you see where I'm typing it in now? So they can either be happy or angry. I'm changing my question so that I can show you both ways. Okay, so let's do angry and happy first. I'm going to put in the capital letters and angry. Okay, it should actually go into inverted commas by itself. Make sure you type in the and correctly. Okay, I want the traveler type. Yes, I want it to be shown. And the one that I want is luxury. So I wanted luxury to be shown, And then will they return? So I want the value to be true, because in a tick box, or you can say yes, because that is what they clicked. If it was clicked or if it was ticked, it was yes. Let's run the query and see there's no such people. So either I haven't done it correctly or there is really no such people. So let's say that I'm taking that out. I'm taking the and angry out and I'm running it. Do you see there is actually 4 that is happy? They traveled in luxury and they will return. Okay, so that's the one thing. Then let's say I wanted the people that said no, they don't want to return. I don't want the reaction to be showed. I don't want the angry to be shown. And it will work with and. I don't think there's people that was angry and happy and luxury. We'll check that now. So you'll see automatically your computer will put that word into inverted commas. You don't have to do that. I don't want the reaction to be shown. So I don't want to see if they were angry. I just want to know that they're there. So then I untick it. Okay, so not display. Then let's run that. So there's 5, 6. There were 6 people that actually was, what did I say? Happy. They were angry. Obviously, they won't return. And they stayed in a luxury. Okay, so let's just quickly go back to the table and see. There's an angry, but they said they will return. So there's no, if you look at the luxury ones, let's quickly do a filter sort, only showing the luxury. Why my query didn't work is I actually also want to see, and this is how you can see if your query was correctly done. Just going to take that all out. Okay, there was actually angry and happy that did this, but then I also said they want to return. Okay, so there was actually a few. So it's good that we check this. This is, by the way, how you can check yours as well. So let's just quickly go into your query and see what are we doing wrong. So we said angry. We want them to return. We want to know whose are the returning ones. Angry and let's say happy. I want to see why it's not working. Okay, let's run that. It says 0. And we know by looking at our table options that it's not 0. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those that said they are happy or angry. So I'm going to quickly check. Oh, yo, I'm blonde. Obviously, there won't be, because the reason is they're not both. There wasn't an option. There wasn't an option happy and angry. We can say, do you understand what I'm saying? There wasn't 2 options for angry and happy in the same emotion. So that's why we can only do angry or happy. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's basically how difficult it can become for queries. I just want to make sure that everything is in the scope that you're supposed to do. Yes, add criteria to queries. That is exactly what we've done. Okay, so that's the end of access.